Hi, everybody. I'm Lori Pinhorn, social worker, holistic nutritionist, and I'm one of the co-creators of Feeding Futures.
Hi, I'm Lisa Pinhorn. I am a pivotal response therapist, an adult educator, an autism mom, and also one of the co-creators of Feeding Futures.
And so welcome back, everybody, for one of our weekly tips. And today we are answering a question from somebody who sent us a direct email asking about how do you encourage your child who's a picky eater to eat more variety of things. And I know, Lisa, this comes up a lot when you're doing the screenings for the Feeding Futures programs too.
It does. Yeah, it does. Interesting. We had a little bit of a chat about that last night with a new client who's just starting. I just think it's important to know that the people who sort of land with us are not really picky eaters. There's something a little bit stronger than that, and it is actually a recognized disorder. And resistant eating is really different than picky eating. You know, somebody who's just not in the mood to eat their carrots one day. What we're dealing with is children who have a lot of anxiety around food and a lot of issues that are way more complicated than just picky eating. So
Yeah,
that's the first thing that
afraid.
Parents,
They're actually afraid of the new food, the new textures, the sensation of it in their mouths, and that's because from a sensory perspective they can smell and taste and hear, all their sensories are heightened.
Exactly. And well, part of the reason what we do and we teach parents is that most of the time children who are living with ADHD, anxiety, autism, and those kinds of things, they're kind of trapped in a little bit of a vortex, a lot of anxiety, a lot of sensory stuff. And when one is high, the other gets high. So we try to teach people how to bring those things down. And so we give them strategies to do that. And one of the things that we have to teach parents, the very first thing to do is to try to relieve the anxiety around mealtime and food time. And that means sometimes you have to have a shift in what you think, what you were taught that people are supposed to do around meal times, which is like everybody sits at the table and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes within this therapy, you got to let some of that stuff go because that's not how your mealtime is going to look for a little bit.
And some of the research is pretty clear about this. There's a list of indirect ways that you can encourage your kid to eat more food, a variety of food, and direct ways. And across the board, added pressure is one of the least effective ways to increase the variety. And I think all of us as parents, we have all done this at some point in time, is like really tried to increase the pressure. Mm-hmm. And what we know is that if that's your only strategy, no wonder people are frustrated and they're not successful,
Yeah, and innately that's what we go to. I mean, I've done it. I've stood in the kitchen for hours and put food on the plate and people walk away and you're like, how could you? Like there's a whole lot of like mommy madness happens because you've worked really hard. It's a new gluten-free thing or it's a new casein-free thing and you really want them to eat it and you're so into it and you're so in it to win it that you actually do a little bit of damage on the other end by causing a lot of pressure. Yes. So that's the first thing that one of the first things in your toolkit that we teach people is that food exposure and food healthiness around food can look very different than just standing there and begging and tossing in the towel and leaving.
And adding that pressure there. Mm-hmm. So the tip for today is that if you have a resistant eater, a picky eater, or even somebody who you just want to increase the great nutrition in their lives, it's time to do a shift in your head about your approach because just pressure is not the most effective.
No, nobody wins. Nobody. It's a lose-lose situation.
Yes. So please send us in your questions. We love getting questions from our viewers and from our clients and about specific nutrition and pivotal response questions. So have a fabulous sunny week. Hopefully the sun stays shining and we'll see you next week.
Bye.